I'm not sure when you'll be seeing this, but Mother's Day is in a few days. I want to take this opportunity to honor some of the women in my life, past, present, and hopefully future. My mother, Ruth. She was the youngest of five girls. My mother was a warm, fun loving woman in her early age, and believe me, into her older age. She was a contract bridge player and was really frustrated when I wasn't as enthusiastic as she was about the game. She had a bridge keeper named Carolyn LeBreche, so guess what? My name is Carolyn. My mother's career was one of service. She was the ultimate hostess, party planner, pie maker, good dancer. She and my dad met singing in the choir at church, and she was a devoted grandmother and great grandmother. She died too young, and I miss her. My aunts. Unfortunately, two of my mother's sisters died before I was born. Very tragic. Their surviving sisters were my Aunt Gertie and my Aunt Helen. There could not be two more different people, but both were fabulous in their own right. Aunt Gertie was childless, so her sisters' children became hers, and did she spoil us? I have no memory of my grandmother, but Aunt Gertie stepped into her shoes and nurtured my brother and my two cousins. Her home was where all the holidays took place, and my memories of those times are still very, very vivid. Even to the point that some days I think I smell leg of lamb cooking from time to time. She was beyond charitable with her time and her means, assembling care packages for the boys overseas and making sure that a member of the armed forces was at each holiday table and had an appropriate gift for that occasion. Aunt Helen was the mother of two and earned her teaching degree at the University of Wyoming. She taught third grade, and at her untimely death from breast cancer in her early 50s, the letters from her students were published in the local newspaper. She was a treasure to all of us. I was blessed to be surrounded by my mother's friends when I was a teenager, and then into my time as a young mother. One of those friends was Virgie Cassis. When I came to California to go to college, I lived with her family until I moved into the dorms. Virgie had 5 children and folded me into her family for many years. When my daughter was born, Virgie carried her from the hospital to the waiting car. My mother had a hard time getting her granddaughter away from her best friend. When I married Jim, I was gifted with his mother as my mother-in-law. A friend of ours never called his wife's mother mother-in-law. He called her mother in love. I like that, don't you? Esther was very responsible for me becoming a Christian. Her life story was so sad, but she overcame. To say the least, it was difficult, but her love for her family had no bounds. She lived to be 98 years old and was mentally and physically sharp until she fell asleep in Jesus. Another woman who shaped my life was Chaplain Mindy Russell. I met Mindy when she was teaching a class on how to help people in your congregation who were grieving. She saw something in me that I had only seen a glimpse of, and I signed up for the Law Enforcement Chaplaincy Academy in Sacramento and became a community chaplain. I know this is going to sound a little strange. Don't read anything into it, but it saved my life in so many ways. I was finally able to use those gifts that God and the women who had influenced me throughout my life had wanted me to use. Last in the line of women, but certainly not least, are my daughter and my granddaughter. What can you say that doesn't sound like you're a bragging mother and grandmother, but I am. I am so proud of those two women. My daughter has raised 2.5 children. I say half because she has a stepdaughter who was 5 or 6 years old when they met. But she has been a wonderful mother, just wonderful. I'm so proud of her. And my granddaughter, well, I'm a typical grandmother. I am more than a little proud of her. She's graduating from college this month from San Jose State. And she's not the first in the family to graduate, but she certainly is the most skilled, the most talented, and I see her future as being very, very rosy. I'm very blessed today to be able to share my faith and try to be the best human that I can be. All these women had a big part in that, and even now, I'm surrounded by women of faith who love God and love others in our community. I am truly blessed. Thank you for setting a shining example of who God wants you to be. We're all better for it.